Tonight, hundreds of thousands are recovering from very powerful storms that tore through late Thursday night. 2 confirmed tornadoes here in West Michigan, another one in Lansing. In many places, it's a mess out there, from damaged homes to downed trees and power lines to blackouts still going on for entire neighborhoods at this hour. Good evening. Thanks for joining us here on News Channel 3. I'm Andy Dominiani. Breaking news. We now know the National Weather Service is confirming 3 tornadoes touched down last night in Michigan, 2 of them right here in our area. Let's begin with Chief Meteorologist Keith Thompson, who has more information on when and where those tornadoes happen, Keith.
Andy, we were tracking a couple of those as they were moving through our area. And by the way, the National Weather Service is still out there surveying, and there is information still coming in. But this is what we know right now. 1 tornado, an EF0 tornado with max winds of 80 miles per hour, you see on the map there, began near Galesburg and then traveled to the northeast to about Battle Creek. No injuries with that. And of course, as we know, no fatalities with that either. A second confirmed one touched down near St. Mary's Lake. And as you see, that is just north of Battle Creek. That too, an EF0 tornado. Wind speeds with an EF0, 65 to 85 miles per hour. There's more info to come on that. And as Andy mentioned, just out recently, a third tornado, not in our area, but a third confirmed tornado. And that was in Eaton County. It's an EF1 tornado that touched down north of Charlotte and moved into the Lansing area north of Dimondale. And again, there's going to be more information about these tornadoes. And by the way, with the survey crews to find out if there were any other touchdowns last night with those storms. That'll be coming up a little bit later on as the National Weather Service puts out more information. In the meantime, we have another risk for some strong storms here tonight. I'm going to be breaking that part of the forecast down. That's going to be coming up.
All right, Keith, thank you. It was a long night and it's been a long day for many in West Michigan. Maybe you're one of the thousands cleaning up your yard right now, or one of the almost 200,000 who are still without power. You're not alone, and we know that because we've talked to a lot of folks today. We've got team coverage from all over our region. News Channel 3's Tyler Brummett is in Allegan County. Mackenzie Decker is in Calhoun. And we begin tonight with Autumn Pitcher, who is live in Kalamazoo. And Autumn, you spoke to a family who has extensive storm damage and just narrowly avoided serious injury.
Yes, as we know, this was a very powerful storm, so powerful that it uprooted a massive tree like this. The homeowner says this tree is about 150 years old, and it came right down on top of this home. You can see it piercing through the center of it. And we have talked to more than one resident today who this has happened to. They tell us the storm came so fast that they didn't have time to take cover, and they feel it's a miracle they survived.
They absolutely would have killed her.
Crushing her home on Springmont Avenue. This tree came only a few feet from landing on Riley Peterson during Thursday night's powerful storms. Her dad, Houston, tells me it landed where the bathroom used to be.
Oh, she'd been a goner. Yeah. So she had just got out of the shower, literally within 3 or 4 minutes before the tree came down.
Riley didn't want to go on camera, so Houston spoke to us on her behalf.
It just uprooted and went, right into the house from kind of the southwest corner.
While the home was crashing down around her, he tells me Riley had to find an opening to escape.
The whole thing knocked her over and she was knocked into this corner. And then there she was laying still wet from the shower and with a towel.
She's lived in the home for 4 years and had made it her own.
When you came inside, it was just really homey and it was just a darling place.
The storm destroyed virtually everything, but the family has still been able to find some of her belongings. While the journey to rebuild will take time, Houston says it's time they're grateful that they still get to spend with their daughter.
I just say glory to God because, that it was inches away from taking her life and it didn't. So, praise God, and everything's going to be fine.
We know that many residents in the area are still without power today. We know it's been really hard because it's been so hot out especially. But even though all these hardships, Riley is still staying positive and is optimistic. She tells us she does plan on rebuilding her home and staying right here in the area because she says she loves Kalamazoo and there's no place she would rather be. I'm live in Kalamazoo tonight. Autumn Pitcher, News Channel 3.
Autumn, we thank you. And News Channel 3's Tyler Brummett is joining us now from Allegan County. And Tyler, a lot of people there are still waiting for the power to get back on in this hot day. You're in the village of Martin now, where there is extensive damage.
Yeah, Andy, I'll tell you what, I'm really just astounded by the damage that I've been seeing all day. Let me show you right across the street here. Look at all that debris. We've got a number of branches down, and it doesn't stop there. If we come back over here to this side of the street, look at all this. You know, you can just touch it here and obviously see that this toppled over, and it doesn't stop there. Look all the way back there. We've got a tree that was uprooted, bringing part of the sidewalk along with it. Now, I was at a campground earlier today where there was a lot of damage. I talked with the owner. She tells me she's simply thankful that everyone stayed safe. This is incredible.
Yeah, a big maple tree. Actually took out, I think, 9 campers altogether because it took out the ones in the back.
Kathy Rex has owned Schnabel Lake Family Campground for 15 years. Since then, she says she's never seen anything like this.
Storms go through, but nothing, you know, maybe a little hail damage, but normally we don't really, seems like that either goes below us or above us.
No matter where you walk or drive, you see the destruction. Kathy tells me Thursday's storms blocked the entrance. Debris scattered in between campers, many of them now destroyed. Some of them were even tossed like toys into the woods. Yeah. Meanwhile, Dennis Clark,
it was like a war zone,
stayed behind with his family. They were inside this camper, and it was an experience Dennis tells me he'll never forget.
So I was laying in my bed, and I buckled down in my bed, and the trailer goes up, down, slid over, and fell on, just like that. In about, I think about 10 seconds, and that was it.
Dennis says he was able to get out through a door. The rest of his family escaped through a window. In the end, both he and Kathy say they're thankful this wasn't worse.
I've got a little scratch on my head. My wife's got some bruises. My granddaughter's fine, and my daughter's fine. So we're blessed.
I'm just thankful that we all were able to take shelter and no one was hurt on it.
All right, so Kathy also tells me that she thinks it'll take all summer for her to be able to clean up the campground. Now, I will tell you one other challenge that we've noticed throughout the day has been cell service. It's been spotty at best, making it a bit more difficult for us to even do our jobs, you know, on our computers and whatnot. So that's something that I'm sure a lot of people are dealing with. I also talked with the Allegan County Undersheriff. He says overall the response to this storm went very well, but he says there's one thing you can do to make his team's job even easier. We'll explain what that is tonight on the news at 6. We're live tonight in Allegan County. Tyler Brummett, News Channel 3.
All right, Tyler, thank you. Hurricane force winds took out everything in their path in some areas overnight. Wind speeds were clocked at up to 76 miles an hour in Springfield, just outside of Battle Creek. Trees and power lines are down everywhere, and things are especially bad in one neighborhood. Tonight, News Channel 3's Mackenzie Decker is live. And Mackenzie, where are you exactly, and what are you seeing?
Yeah, Andy, we're here in one family's front yard where a massive tree has come down. The bottom of that tree, as you can see, is taller than I am. And this is just one of a number of things that need to be taken care of as the neighborhood works to recover.
We waited until it stopped before we came out, and it was surreal because it was pitch black. So we were just like, what is it going to look like in the daytime?
City leaders saying the worst of the storm appearing to hit the numbered street area, right where Leah Campbell's home sits. Campbell says she didn't anticipate the storm being that serious until alerts started coming through on her phone, convincing her and her daughter to take cover just in time.
My daughter's room is right there in the corner, and I said, are you coming down? She got downstairs to the couch down there, and not 2 minutes, we all heard a large boom and cracks.
It was this massive tree falling on top of their home. You can see the bottom of the tree here completely uprooted. The tree knocking down fixtures and causing water to get in. Campbell's home is one of the worst hit in the area, but not too far away at Kellogg Community College, landscape workers dealing with fallen trees and branches as well.
Heading that way through the back roads, we came across a big old tree, and we were like, oh, well, we can't go that way. So we took the next side road, and it's another giant tree just taking over the whole road. I'd rather see it in a tree than, in somebody's house. That's definitely that's a much worse situation to have to deal with.
Campbell says her family is in good spirits, all things considered, thankful for help from her neighbors and that nobody was hurt.
My neighbor's brother came over and sawed up with his chainsaw pieces in the back. And yeah, everybody's been driving by gawking and taking pictures, but you could tell they look concerned.
And as luck would have it, the city does have a curbside cleanup that was already scheduled for next week. So anyone cleaning up after the storm can bring those items to the curb and, of course, have patience as crews are helping everyone to recover. Live in Battle Creek, Mackenzie Decker, News Channel 3.
All right, Mackenzie, thanks. And a live look now at power outages in West Michigan after those powerful storms rolled through overnight. You can see hundreds of outages in different regions in our area. Right now, just over 170,000 customers statewide for consumers are still in the dark. Consumers Energy is estimating that more people will get their power back on throughout this evening, but some will have to wait until tomorrow, even longer in some cases. We'll be speaking live with Consumers Energy to get an update on power restoration efforts. That's coming up on News Channel 3 at 5:30. And a live look after the storm over Bronson Park in downtown Kalamazoo. Lots of sun, warm weather after those strong storms, but we could be in for another round of storms tonight. Chief Meteorologist Keith Thompson's in the Weather Alert Center with a look at the forecast. Keith, here we go again, possibly.
Yeah, Andy, almost certainly we're going to be seeing some more thunderstorms tonight. However, they are not expected to be nearly as intense as what we had last night, but there is still a threat for severe weather. This from the Storm Prediction Center. The area shaded in yellow, and it does cover much of West Michigan, is at risk level 2, slight risk for severe weather. Remember last night, we were at risk level 3, an enhanced level, so it's a little bit lower. However, our timing is similar from about 8 o'clock tonight to about 1 o'clock in the morning. Within that window there, we'll see scattered storms that will be arriving from the southwest and the west. The primary threat is going to be from damaging wind, but isolated tornadoes cannot be ruled out. That threat will be ending again shortly after midnight as we track these storms. Now, right now on live Doppler radar, it's quiet. Nothing going on here. But as we zoom out, we see a couple of concern areas here. One is across the lake in Wisconsin. Many of those are going to be moving up to our north. But we're also watching this cluster of thunderstorms that has been nasty, tornadic in the St. Louis area. It's now moving into Illinois, and that area is also expected to be making its way to the northeast and arriving in West Michigan later on. Let's go with our hour by hour. You see at 7 o'clock, we see some of these storms knocking on the door. They're going to start to move in. Notice we just have these scattered, isolated thunderstorms here. This is going to be very different, I think, than what we saw last night. But by 10 o'clock, certainly those storms rolling through. At 11 o'clock, we still have them. By midnight, they're going to be cruising right on out of here. And then much cooler air will be coming in for tomorrow. And by the way, that's going to be the story for the weekend and next week, a pattern change that will be bringing us much cooler air. I'm going to be breaking down more on our storm threat for tonight, looking ahead to a sweater weekend and even next week in the 7-day. That's all coming up, Andy.
A lot of changes coming. Keith, all right, thank you. Well, a neighborhood just off of Oakland Drive in Portage was also hit hard by the storm last night, and it's an area that's had trouble before. It all seems like deja vu for one woman. Sandra Matthews' home was damaged in last year's tornado, and now it's happened again. She says the last time is worse than last year. Her glass cabinet and collectibles have been destroyed. Her ceilings cracked, drywall on the floor. Matthews says she does not look forward to dealing with insurance adjusters yet again. They had just finished fixing her ceiling from last May's tornado in Portage.
I can't imagine. I just can't imagine doing this again. Should go to the casino and play a couple bets or something.
As West Michigan continues to clean up from another storm, we'll keep you updated with coverage both here on air and on our website, WWMT.com. Much more storm coverage coming up here in the next half hour. Meantime, President Trump back in the United States tonight after several days overseas in the Middle East. The details of two significant foreign policy announcements from President Trump on Iran and Russia.
Live CBS May 26th. Celebrate your favorite music at the American Music Awards. Nominees include Benson Boone, Billie Eilish, Bruno Mars, Chappell Roan, Hosier, Kendrick Lamar, Lady Gaga, Morgan Wallen, Post Malone, Sabrina Carpenter, Shabuzi, SZA, Taylor Swift, and Zach Bryan. Go to voteamas.com and cast your vote for the American Music Awards, hosted by Jennifer Lopez, live May 26th on CBS and streaming on Paramount Plus.
As long as probably forever, there's only been one Frosty. Because what would we even do? Add a bunch of new swirls and mix-ins like Oreo cookies or Pop-Tarts pieces? That's kind of genius, actually. For a fresh way to Frosty, gotta be Wendy's.
I have type 2 diabetes, but I manage it well. It's a little pill with a big story to tell. I take once daily Jardians at each day start. As time went on, it was easy to see. I'm lowering my A1C.
And for adults with type 2 diabetes and known heart disease, Jardians can lower the risk of cardiovascular death too.
Serious side effects include increased ketones in blood or urine, which can be fatal. Stop Jardians and call your doctor right away if you have nausea, vomiting, stomach pain, tiredness, trouble breathing, or increased ketones. Jardians may cause dehydration that can suddenly worsen kidney function and make you feel dizzy, lightheaded, or weak upon standing. Genital yeast infections in men and women, urinary tract infections, low blood sugar, or a rare life-threatening bacterial infection between and around the anus and genitals can occur. Call your doctor right away if you have fever or feel weak or tired, and pain, tenderness, swelling, or redness in the genital area. Don't use if allergic to Jardians. Stop use if you have a serious allergic reaction. Call your doctor if you have rash, swelling, difficulty breathing, or swallowing. You may have increased risk for lower limb loss. Call your doctor right away if you have new pain or tenderness, sores, ulcers, or infection in your legs or feet.
Jardians is really swell, the little pill with a big story to tell.
With ABC Warehouse's massive Memorial Day sale, when you buy more, you save more. Right now, get up to 65% off everything. Plus, save up to $1,200 on top brands. Get stackable savings on appliances, TVs, mattresses, and more. Memorial Day savings won't last long. Get to ABC Warehouse and save thousands. Get deals on deals on deals. Only at ABC Warehouse, the closest thing to wholesale.
You're watching News Channel 3 with Andy Dominiani, Jessica Harthorn, Chief Meteorologist Keith Thompson, and Andy Pepper with sports.
And welcome back on a Friday. President Trump is ending his 4-day trip in the Middle East with two major announcements. His administration's presented Iran with a proposal to slow down their nuclear program and is calling for a one-on-one meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Tonight, Atra El-Nashar has more details on both from Washington.
This week began with tentative hope the leaders of Russia and Ukraine would meet face-to-face for the first time since Russia's invasion. And it's ending with President Trump saying he doesn't think any progress will be made until he and Russian President Vladimir Putin meet face-to-face.
I think it's time for us to just do it.
On Monday, President Trump said he was open to flying to Istanbul to be there as Putin and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky met. After all, it was Putin who proposed the talks in the first place. Zelensky committed immediately. Putin, a no-show.
Are you putting to call Vladimir Putin? How do you think you can get those talks on track?
We have to meet. He and I will meet. I think we'll solve it, or maybe not, but at least we'll know. And if we don't solve it, it'll be very interesting.
Other high-level Ukrainian and Russian officials did meet in Istanbul Friday for about 2 hours, emerging without any breakthroughs. Soon after, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer releasing this photo. Zelensky huddled with European allies on the phone with President Trump. Starmer says they're coordinating their response to Russia's unacceptable position. Throughout his Middle East trip, President Trump remarked on his administration's ongoing talks with Iran in an attempt to block the country from developing a nuclear weapon. And heading back to Washington on Air Force One Friday, the president said his team presented the Iranians with a proposal.
They have a proposal, but more importantly, they know they have to move quickly or something bad's going to happen.
A few hours later, Iran's foreign minister posted, Iran has not received any written proposal from the United States, whether directly or indirectly. In the meantime, the message we and the world continue to receive is confusing and contradictory.
You feel urgency.
Well, they're not going to have a nuclear weapon, and eventually they'll have a nuclear weapon, and then the discussion becomes a much different one.
From Moscow to Tehran, the president juggling the prospect of high-stakes talks with no guaranteed outcomes. In Washington, I'm Atra El-Nashar reporting.
There is a flurry of activity tonight across Chinese factories and ports. American and Chinese companies are rushing to make the most of this 90-day tariff pause. Bookings for shipping containers from China to the U.S. have spiked almost 300%, according to container tracking software provider Vision. Meanwhile, multiple Chinese media outlets are reporting that suppliers are working overtime to meet a surging demand from American companies looking to restart orders ASAP. The pause is for an initial 90 days as negotiations on a permanent deal continue. Well, Americans are not feeling very optimistic these days, apparently. That's according to the University of Michigan's carefully watched Consumer Sentiment Index. It fell 2.7% in the first part of the month. The preliminary reading of 50.8 is a near record low. The survey period for the preliminary report ended May 13th. President Trump's tariffs and other policy moves have stoked recession fears again and sent sentiment readings south every month so far this year. However, economists predict that sentiment could improve later this month as they forecast a reading of 55, according to estimates by FactSet.
Well, one storm threat over, another one looming. It doesn't look that way from this view, but believe me, it is. Hello, Coldwater, live I-69 highway camera that weekend. Traffic getting moving there. Thanks to the city of Coldwater for this view here from the Willowbrook Tower camera. Let's talk about our severe weather threat for tonight. The timing, much like last night, from about 8 o'clock on the early side to about 1 o'clock on the later side. If you want to even get more narrow than that, 9 to midnight. But scattered storms will be arriving from the southwest and the west. The primary threat, damaging wind. There could be some isolated tornadoes. This threat does not appear to be nearly as ominous as the one last night, and it will be ending after midnight. We are at risk level 2 here. That's where we have the yellow. And remember, last night we were at risk level 3, an enhanced risk. This is 2 out of 5. It is still a risk nonetheless. And so here's sort of a recap of our storm outlook here. Scattered severe storms here. Remember, last night it was numerous severe storms. There's our start and end time. Scattered storms with gusts 60, maybe a little bit greater. Large hail is possible. Can't rule out some isolated tornadoes and some periods of heavy rain. Let's get to the hour by hour, and let me show you when the threat is going to be moving through. We start at 7 o'clock. We're watching really a couple of clusters, one over in Wisconsin that'll be crossing the lake, though those I think will be moving more northeast, and so I think those are going to be more an issue for the northern part of the lower. But we are also watching storms that are now kicking out of Missouri into Illinois. They're moving to the northeast, and I think those will start to move in as well. But notice, instead of these big lines of thunderstorms or a huge line of thunderstorms like we had last night, this time I think we're just going to see some scattered cells popping up. And our returns here don't look to be nearly as impressive as we go from 9 to 10 to 11 as they did last night and yesterday as we were looking at our forecast data. That said, we are still at a slight risk for severe storms, so we do want to keep that in mind here, and we're certainly going to keep our guard up and be alert. Overnight, that threat goes away. Much cooler air is moving in for your Saturday, and that's setting the tone, as I'll show you in the 7-day, for a pattern change. Let's look live right now in downtown Kalamazoo. Looking good here, too, with sunny skies, all quiet out there as we look from Bronson Park right now to the northwest. Let's go with our live Doppler radar here. Quiet on our 100-mile scan, but as we zoom out, there are the 2 areas I was talking about, really watching this one here in Illinois too. Temperatures right now are just about as warm as they were yesterday, low to mid-80s, but you know what's changed? Look at our dew points. Yesterday in the 60s, today in the 40s and 50s. All right, tonight, evening thunderstorms, then cloudy and much cooler overnight with a low of 54. And then for tomorrow, it's going to be cool and damp with some off and on showers, a high of 58. Andy, last week, even yesterday, we were looking at 70s and 80s. Look at the highs on the 7-day, only in the 60s.
Yeah, we'll drop off a cliff there temperature-wise after this latest round of storms moves through tonight, possibly. Thank you, Keith. NOAA and the National Weather Service could be cut by nearly 30%. The impact that could have here in West Michigan.
News Channel 3 is sponsored by Harvey Lexus of Grand Rapids.
I'm attorney Mark Bernstein. Our no-fee guarantee is simple. There's never a fee until we win for you.
To hire the Sam Bernstein Law Firm, I didn't have to pay anything. Nothing up front. They took care of all my needs and expenses. Everything was covered 100%.
What began as Cornelius Romance's celery farm over a century ago is now one of Southwest Michigan's largest nurseries for flowers, plants, trees, and shrubs. Visit Romance Garden Center for that picture-perfect lawn and garden. Providing quality nursery stock is our goal, with many of our trees and shrubs covered by an unheard-of 1-year warranty. Make your garden gorgeous. For gardening supplies and expert advice, see Romance Garden Center in Portage.
Good helps keep people safe. Good keeps watch. Good cares for people, feeds people, and keeps things running. We're MDOC, and Good works here. Come join us. We offer great pay and benefits, paid training, and we have immediate openings for corrections officers, healthcare and mental health professionals, food service staff, and more. Go to michigan.gov/MDOC jobs to learn more.
Here we have the Van Gogh, and here we have the Monet. What is that?
It's breathtaking.
I like your style. It's a bold choice. This is a WeatherGuard window.
Well, it must be expensive.
Priceless.
Actually, get 50% off all windows and 0% interest for up to 5 years. Some see a window, others a masterpiece. It's simply WeatherGuard.
We protect your home.
This is my friend Chris, and he's getting married. That's why we're here at Libbins. He's gonna get treated like the king he is, with the personalized attention you won't get anywhere but Libbins. Whether he decides to go formal or casual, Libbins has what he's looking for. Rent or buy, it's his choice. So visit Libbins for your wedding wear and accessories. Libbins at Cork Street and Lovers Lane in Kalamazoo.
The Sam Bernstein Law Firm. We fight and win for injured people, just like you, every day.
The Sam Bernstein Law Firm, from beginning to end, helped me get the results that I deserve. The Sam Bernstein Law Firm fought for me.
Welcome back on a Friday. NOAA and the National Weather Service could be cut by nearly 30% if the proposed budget for fiscal year 2026 is approved. Meteorologist Colin Rogers spoke with the former National Weather Service director about what these cuts would mean for us in West Michigan.
All the living former National Weather Service directors came together to write a letter to the American people regarding their concerns about potential cuts to NOAA and the National Weather Service. Some employees have already been cut, and they fear that if more are let go, some offices may be so understaffed that there will be a needless loss of life. Earlier this year, hundreds of probationary employees at the National Weather Service were let go.
The initial release of the new employees was something that was very unsettling to all of us. And in fact, it was the main motivating point that got 5 former directors of the National Weather Service together to write the open letter.
Louis Uccellini, a former National Weather Service director, says that getting rid of more people and resources will make matters worse.
That increases the concern and it increases the risk. Nobody can predict when the rubber band will break. You can pull it, you can pull it, you can pull it, and the one time it breaks, it's done.
Employees with the Weather Service have to work 24/7, 365 days a year to uphold their mission of protecting life and property. One concern is that staff will be stretched too thin to handle busy weather days.
What happens if you have a severe weather event and a flash flood event going on at the same time? Those are 2 different forecast processes. That's where you get into a risk factor that I think is unacceptable, because you're going to miss something.
One of the areas inside NOAA that would be hardest hit is the research branch. They are testing new technology to improve forecast accuracy down the road. Without those researchers, the responsibility would be passed on to other meteorologists.
How are they going to try to keep going with respect to today's weather and at the same time be part of the team that's assessing and testing all the new technology advances and science advances that are still on the horizon?
The work of these researchers have saved many lives as they learn more about steering patterns for hurricanes or what makes tropical cyclones rapidly intensify. That knowledge is put into weather models to allow for a more accurate forecast in the future.
I would point out that the improvements in the hurricane forecast over the past 10, 15 years have been astounding, both in track and now intensity. People are preparing for potential hurricanes before they even form. So it's it's something that we feel very strongly about, that we need that kind of connectivity, not only to deal with today's forecast challenges, but work towards the future.
Uccellini tells me that some weather models have recently seen a decline in accuracy and are not reaching the scores that the Weather Service wants to see. While it is still too early to tell what the exact cause is, it correlates pretty well with when some offices stopped releasing weather balloons due to staffing issues. We have the full letter on our website, WWMT.com. In the studio, meteorologist Colin Rogers, News Channel 3.
There's much more ahead at 5:30 here on News Channel 3 on this Friday. Crews clean up tonight after powerful storms tore through overnight in West Michigan. We're getting a live update from Consumers Energy on power restoration timelines. But first, a live look over downtown Battle Creek on this Friday. Many power outages within the city right now. It is warm and sunny, but more storms again could be on the way within hours. We're tracking all of it when we come back.
It is a friendly wheel rivalry all this week.
They are all wheel fans who watch the show together.
I came with the goal of beating these two because girls rule.
Every weeknight at 7 on News Channel 3.
Next Jeopardy!
I was wearing like this neon green t-shirt, plaid pants, softball socks, boots, and a cowboy hat.
Now, can she pull off a win in style?
Good luck to all three of you.
Jeopardy! Tonight at 7:30 on News Channel 3.
$25 for an air conditioner evaluation from Service Professor. Only $25 to get your AC analyzed for the warm weather ahead and keep you out of the heat.
Service Professor will fix it in a snap.
Style or substance. Somehow it became one or the other. But there is another choice. Not stopping until you have everything in the GMC Sierra. GM employees with a current eligible GMC lease get this low mileage lease on this Sierra for $199 per month. See your West Michigan GMC dealer today.
And it's got a knife and a bottle opener and a can opener, a corkscrew.
Another new toy?
This is a Swiss Army knife. It can do all sorts of things.
Just like the Toro Multiforce.
Hey, yeah, the Multiforce can mow, mulch, aerate, throw snow, you name it.
Use it every season.
And right now, Steensmith has thousands off any in-stock Toro Multiforce.
And 0% financing for 60 months.
The Toro Multiforce and Steensmith Lawn and Power. We can help.
I know you wanna leave me, but I refuse to let you go.
Ain't Too Proud is a celebration that brings the audience to its feet.
Ain't too proud to bear, it's you know it.
The Grammy-winning songs, the Tony-winning moves.
Ain't too proud to be.
Ain't Too Proud, the life and times of the Temptations. May 13th through 15th, Miller Auditorium in Kalamazoo. On sale now at millerauditorium.com.
We'll fix it in a snap.
You hear that? That's Service Professor fixing your drain, sewer, plumbing, electrical, heating, or cooling, and fixing it in a snap.
Service Professor will fix it in a snap.
Residents across West Michigan are picking up the pieces tonight after powerful storms blew through overnight. We talk with neighbors who are dealing with damage again at this hour.
Lots of sunshine right now as we look live over Vicksburg downtown, but this is the calm before another round of storms coming up. I'll tell you when they're up.
And President Trump's budget bill hits a major roadblock in the House. The demands from fellow Republicans who blocked that legislation.
Covering West Michigan to protect and alert you. This is News Channel 3, live at 5:30.
We are on the road to recovery tonight. Hundreds of thousands in Michigan, many thousands in our area, picking up the pieces right now after powerful storms slammed our area last night into the overnight hours. Thanks for joining us on News Channel 3 at 5:30 on this Friday. We've had crews traveling all over our viewing area this afternoon, finding, of course, downed trees and branches and power lines, damage everywhere. One of the hardest hit areas was Galesburg, with a lot of damage and power outages. News Channel 3's Tiana Barnes is there speaking with two neighbors who had their property destroyed by fallen trees.
Brad Carpenter tells me he was getting ready for bed late Thursday night when his house began to shake. When he looked out his window, sparks flew as nearly 80-mile-per-hour winds brought power lines down to the street. Friendly neighbors brought him coffee as Carpenter assessed the damage done overnight. He tells me he's just thankful to be alive as the trees slammed onto the roof of his home. Listen as he describes the moment a peaceful night turned horrifying.
The transformers along the street, they kept exploding, not just once, but they just kept going bam, bam, and there's sparks, and the power line in front of my house was on fire, and I saw the whole neighborhood was decimated, and I was shocked. I thought, wow, I'm still shocked.
A similar scene next door at his neighbor Don Baldwin's house. Not only did trees crash all over the top of his home, but his vehicle was smashed by downed trees as well. Carpenter and his neighbors say they're glad they were able to get out of this without any physical harm, and now they begin the process of cleaning up and salvaging what they can. In Galesburg, Tiana Barnes, News Channel 3.
Things are bad, but getting better gradually. I'm joined now live in studio by Tricia Bloombergen from Consumers Energy Media Relations. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
I know not your favorite kind of day. Tell me how things are going out there. We see about 170,000 statewide still waiting for the power to come back on. And that number is better than it was.
The storms that swept across our state last night impacted more than 215,000 of our neighbors from the shoreline through Kalamazoo all the way into Lansing.
Heartbreaking to see trees on houses and, everyone's possessions just strewn about. Not as bad as May 7th of last year by any far stretch, but it is a mess. What can you tell folks about your timeline?
Our crews are working hard, and they'll be working overnight until every last customer is restored. We have 550 crews that will work in 16-hour shifts. We're so thankful for crews that are coming from out of state to support our restoration efforts.
When you go online, Tricia, can you get an estimated restoration time for where you live, for your neighborhood or your street?
The best way to check your estimated restoration time is to visit our restoration map, which is at consumersenergy.com/outage center. You can look at your specific address and see the estimated time of restoration. Our hope is to have a majority of our customers restored by the end of the day tomorrow, with our hardest hit areas and any new customers that we might see overnight restored by Monday morning.
What if somebody has what they would consider to be a really urgent request? They need oxygen and they can't do that. There's some medical issues associated with the power outages. Is there any help for them through Consumers?
We prioritize our customers that need health and safety issues. So hospitals, police and fire, any customers that might need oxygen or electricity to keep their lives running. And there are ways to alert our team so that we're aware that we need to get you restored. Go ahead and visit us at consumersenergy.com/outage center, and you can submit that request.
Consumers, Tricia's been very public about their campaign to increase restoration times. You've got a reliability roadmap. Tell me how that works, and is it working in this situation?
These instances are a strengthening of our resolve of how important our reliability roadmap is. It is our goal that no customer is without power for more than 24 hours and that we never have an instance where more than 100,000 customers are impacted. Unfortunately, as we saw today,
we got both of these.
There yet.
Both of these problems are happening.
We're not there yet, but we're going to work hard every single day to strengthen our grid until we get there.
And on top of that, we have the possibility of additional storms tonight. So that complicates things further, doesn't it?
As we prepare for another round of storms, we encourage everyone to keep safety top of mind. So if you see a downed wire, call 911 and then call us at Consumers Energy at 1-800-477-5050.
A lot of help out there, I know, getting these trees out of the way and power lines back up and turning people back on their lights and air conditioning on a hot night like tonight, huh? Sure. Tricia Bloomberg from Consumers, thank you so much for your time and good luck to you. I know you got an uphill battle. All right, Chief Meteorologist Keith Thompson joining us now in the Weather Alert Center. And Keith, we are looking at the chance of other storms tonight.
Yeah, and hopefully it won't make the situation even worse, of course. I've seen lots of utility trucks all around, and I'm sure that you have too. We're looking at Vicksburg live right now, and from this view here from the water tower looking downtown, thanks to the village of Vicksburg, you wouldn't think that we have another threat for storms, but in fact, we do. In fact, from the Storm Prediction Center, This area in yellow, which includes most of West Michigan and certainly those that were impacted last night, at slight risk, level 2 of 5 for severe storms. Here's what we're looking at. Our timing from 8 o'clock on the early side, 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. on the later side. It will be within that window when we'll see scattered storms that will be arriving from the southwest and west. Our primary threat from these will be damaging winds in the neighborhood of 60 miles per hour with some isolated tornadoes not out of the question. But I do want to underline the threat does not look as ominous as it did last night for those storms last night. And that threat will be ending after midnight. Right now, we track on live Doppler radar, nothing going on here in West Michigan, as evidenced by that Vicksburg tower camera there. It's all quiet. A couple of areas of storms we're watching. One right now in Wisconsin. Notice these are being shoved to the northeast. And so I don't think that these are going to be a big player for us, but we're also watching these storms now that are really racing through Illinois. Just a couple of hours ago, they were in St. Louis, and right now they're about to push into western Indiana. We're going to keep an eye on development to our southwest that will likely advance some storms here. Temperatures right now are in the lower to mid 80s, and yeah, it's just as warm as yesterday, but our dew points are down 15 to 20 degrees, so it's not nearly as humid. What's on the way in our hour by hour for tonight? Storms possible between 8 p.m. and midnight. Overnight, that threat will be going away, and then we set sail on a very cool and damp pattern for Saturday. It stays chilly into next week. That part of the weather story is coming up. Andy?
All right, Keith, we'll see you soon. Thank you. Congressional Republicans are trying to move ahead tonight with a plan to reconcile the budget. It is the one chance they'll have to pass a spending bill with a simple majority of Republican votes. President Trump has put nearly all of his domestic priorities into more than 1,000 pages of this bill. But even with the lowered threshold to pass it, the president's finding it hard to get every GOP member on board. Erica Brown has more details tonight from Capitol Hill.
President Trump's budget package, which he calls one big beautiful bill, hit a major setback Friday in the Republican-controlled House Budget Committee.
Mr. Chair, on the vote, there were 16 ayes and 21 noes.
5 Republicans joined Democrats in voting against advancing the bill out of the committee. Several hardline conservatives walked out during the proceedings, trying to force a recess that would buy time to negotiate. The GOP holdouts say the bill doesn't go far enough to cut federal spending in order to rein in the deficit.
Everything in Washington, D.C., you've got your lobbyists, you've got your special interests. It's money. I mean, I've had everybody call me. It's money. I get that. But it's money we don't have to spend. It's not that difficult.
Republican leaders plan to continue negotiations through the weekend, but with every concession to conservative demands, they risk losing support from moderates. The bill is central to President Trump's economic agenda. It includes trillions of dollars in tax cuts, with spending boosts for the U.S. military and border security, partly paid for by steep cuts to federal health, education, and environmental programs.
The president's been following all this very closely. I know he's coming back from a foreign trip, so he's going to be actively engaged, as he has the whole way through this process.
Speaker Mike Johnson says he wants to pass the bill out of the House before Memorial Day. Erica Brown, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Well, officials say a sextortion ring that targeted thousands of minors around the world has been disrupted. Alfred Cassie and a group of 3 accomplices were arrested in Africa for their alleged roles in the sextortion scheme. U.S. federal prosecutors say thousands of people, including minors throughout the U.S., Canada, the U.K., France, Spain, and Italy, were deceived into sending explicit images. They were then blackmailed in exchange for money or for additional graphic content. Another intense day in a courtroom in the Sean Combs sex trafficking trial in New York City. After 4 days on the witness stand, the R&B singer Cassie Ventura wrapped up her testimony about their relationship. Bradley Blackburn has the story.
Sean Combs' ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura returned to the witness stand where the hip-hop mogul's legal team wrapped up its cross-examination. The singer was asked to read out loud from the couple's text messages, including after he beat her in a Los Angeles hotel in 2016. Complaining that Combs was out of control from drugs and alcohol, she wrote, "I'm not a rag doll, I'm somebody's child." Just days later, she wrote, "We need a different vibe from Friday." Combs' attorneys say the messages expressed love and that the drug-fueled sex encounters he called freak-offs were consensual. Ventura testified she did love Combs, but said those encounters left her humiliated and traumatized. The defense also grilled her about jealousy in the relationship. She testified it was after Combs called another woman his soulmate that she finally stopped seeing him in 2018.
She's holding up great.
Pregnant with her third child, Ventura's attorneys say she's done a good job on the stand, but they asked the judge to limit Friday's cross-examination, saying the questions put her health at risk.
She was brutally honest. She was candid, and she told it how it was.
Combs' children have been there throughout to show support, even as Ventura described graphic and disturbing details about their father.
A really, really almost unbearable testimony. I mean, the reporting is that you could hear audible gasps from some of the photographs shown from the jurors.
It was Ventura's 2023 lawsuit accusing Combs of physical and sexual abuse that eventually brought him to trial for sex trafficking and racketeering. Combs' attorneys don't deny domestic violence allegations, but say that they do not prove a criminal enterprise. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Meanwhile, a British judge has ordered singer Chris Brown be held in custody following a hearing this morning. Yesterday, Brown was arrested in the UK for an incident that happened in February of 2023. He is accused of hitting a music producer several times with a bottle at a London nightclub. Brown is facing one count of egregious bodily harm. His next court hearing is scheduled for June 13. Brown's world tour was set to begin on June 8th in Europe. The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department has opened a criminal investigation tonight into rape and sexual assault allegations against singer Smokey Robinson. It comes a week after four former housekeepers of Robinson filed suit against the R&B singer, claiming he repeatedly sexually assaulted and raped them between the years of 2007 and 2024. The lawsuit seeks at least $50 million in damages. The Detroit native's lawyer last week denied the allegations and said they are full of inconsistencies. Just as President Trump leaves the Middle East, Israeli executes another airstrike on Gaza, the latest on the death toll tonight, and President Trump's response.
And we are in for some sweater weather here in West Michigan. We go from sweating to sweaters. That's part of your weekend forecast. I'll have that for you coming up.
News Channel 3 is sponsored by ABC Warehouse.
As long as probably forever, there's only been one Frosty. Because what would we even do? Add a bunch of new swirls and mix-ins like Oreo cookies or Pop-Tarts pieces? That's kind of genius, actually. For a fresh way to Frosty, gotta be Wendy's.
And Doug. Okay, here's what you want to do. Save hundreds when Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance.
Are you a caddy?
No, I'm a Doug, and that's a Limu.
Okay, I'm going to putt now.
Okay, I'm going to watch you putt.
Oh!
Nice birdie.
Yes, he is a very nice birdie.
Oh no, Limu! The cards!
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Struggling with moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis? Talk to your doctor about #1 prescribed Entyvio, offering 2 maintenance options, including the Entyvio pen. Infusion and serious allergic reactions can happen during or after treatment. Entyvio may increase risk of infection, which can be serious. PML, a rare, potentially fatal brain infection, cannot be ruled out. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, sores, or are prone to infections. Liver problems can occur. Entyvio, relief, remission for real.
Entyvio, Entyvio, Entyvio. What's better than a limited time deal? An unlimited time deal. That's why the $5 biggie bag with a junior bacon cheeseburger is available all the time. Because the best time for fresh, never frozen beef and Applewood smoked bacon is all the time. Duh. For the best deal of all time, gotta be Wendy's.
At Scott's Pig Roast and More, the name says it all. Full pig roast and more for your block party, picnic, wedding, reunion, or corporate event. Scott's will cater for 20 or 1,000 with pork, chicken, beef, burgers, brats, pasta, and more. From appetizers to dessert, everything is made in-house. Check out our menu suggestions at scottspigroast.com. You choose what you want. If you don't see it on the menu, just ask. Scott's Pig Roast and More. Call or visit us at scottspigroast.com.
Denoyer Chevrolet's trade-in and trade-up event is going on now. Upgrading your ride has never been easier. Get better than top dollar for your vehicle, up to $1,500 more. Our 2 Chevy dealerships have lots of great options available right now. Choose a new, certified, or used vehicle from our vast inventory and save with select Denoyer discounts. Take delivery and drive home miles ahead in savings. Trade in and trade up. Only at Denoyer Chevrolet in Kalamazoo and Marshall.
You're watching News Channel 3 with Andy Dominiani, Jessica Harthorn, Chief Meteorologist Keith Thompson, and Andy Pepper with sports.
Welcome back on a Friday to News Channel 3. As President Trump departs the Middle East, Israel continues its assault on Gaza. At least 93 people were killed by Israeli strikes in the enclave overnight. Gaza's health ministry says that hundreds more were injured. There was some hope that the president's visit to the Gulf states could move ceasefire talks along, and the president says he is working on it. A U.S.-backed group says it's launching an aid delivery mission in the Gaza Strip. President Trump did not visit Israel on his most recent trip. His proposals don't involve a Palestinian state at this point.
And, I have concepts for Gaza that I think are very good. Make it a freedom zone. Let the United States get involved and make it just a freedom zone. Have a real freedom zone.
As the Israeli government maintains, it is still trying to eliminate Hamas fighters in Gaza to prevent another surprise attack like Hamas launched on October 7th of a few years ago. Several storms and tornadoes left a trail of debris and destruction behind across portions of the Great Lakes area and, of course, here in Michigan. More than 400,000 homes and businesses were without power today. Several tornadoes touching down in central Wisconsin. Look at this video there. But no major injuries reported, thankfully. Dodge County took a big hit, prompting a state of emergency in the city of Mayville.
My ears popped. I kind of like it sucked the air out of the room. We saw a branch come down by the window there. Still kind of in shock.
Now here in Michigan, the National Weather Service is surveying damage to determine how many tornadoes rolled through. Again, they've confirmed 3, 2 in West Michigan, 1 in the Lansing area. And the danger is not over yet, with more than 70 million people from Texas to New Jersey possibly at risk for more severe weather. And parts of the southern U.S. are baking tonight in triple-digit heat.
And right here in West Michigan, as a matter of fact, we have a threat for possibly seeing some more severe storms tonight, although the threat is not as great as what we had last night. We start off with a live look at a very tranquil and beautiful St. Joseph looking over Silver Beach. What a gorgeous view this is here. The temperatures are in the 80s. We're really very close to where we were at this time yesterday. For example, St. Joe Benton Harbor area at 84, the same in South Haven and Holland, 82 in Kalamazoo, Battle Creek, and GR, but it's much less humid. And look at how our temperatures are going to be changing here over the next 24 hours. Right now, we're in the 80s. Your weekend weather, Saturday, lots of clouds. There could be a few showers. That high will only be around 60. We're going to be at least 20 degrees cooler than today. And Sunday, mostly sunny, a little bit warmer, but still, for this time of year, cool at 64 degrees. A lot of folks were thinking maybe we've turned a summer corner, but, this isn't June. No. This is still May. And that's one hallmark, is that we can still step back several degrees with the temperature. And so that first cold front that came through last night, or front if you want, that caused all those storms, that took the humidity out of the air. Now, this second one that's going to be coming through is going to be taking a lot of the heat out of the air. And that's when we could have some of the storms tonight.
Which is great for folks who don't have power and don't have AC, and now they won't need it.
Yeah, exactly.
Until they get that back. All right, well, if you missed the finale of the amazing race last night because of the severe weather, there are 2 options to watch it. You can find it on CBS.com, or if you've got Paramount Plus, you can watch it there, just so you know. A federal judge is set to hear arguments today on whether the Trump administration can withhold information about bringing Kilmar Abrego Garcia back to the United States. Abrego Garcia is a Salvadoran national that was erroneously deported in March, authorities say. His wife and lawyers deny the White House claim that he has ties to an MS-13 street gang. The judge ordered the U.S. to facilitate Abrego Garcia's return in April and wants proof of compliance. Abrego Garcia has never been criminally charged in the United States with any gang involvement. He was given protected status in the U.S. in 2019. The Department of Homeland Security has requested some 20,000 National Guard members to arrest and deport illegal immigrants. In a statement, the agency's assistant secretary said the department's request is to help carry out the president's goal of arresting and deporting people who are in this country illegally. Earlier this week, it was reported that the Trump administration was planning to deploy hundreds more federal personnel to ramp up arrests. Tonight, thousands are still without power after those strong storms rolled through overnight. The latest on the ongoing recovery efforts. But first, Disneyland in Anaheim, California, celebrating 70 years. The special deals offered to customers this summer.
And there is more cool air ahead. In fact, next week, it's going to be much cooler than what we've had lately. Your next week peak is just ahead. Right now, sunshine over the Cereal City. It's the calm before another wave of some storms moving through. As we say hello, Battle Creek. Right now, the time is 5:53. News Channel 3 live at 5:30. We'll be right back.
What happens when reporters take you inside the story? You get the all-new CBS Evening News every weeknight.
Shake off those winter blues and get your home ready for spring at Russell's Country Store. New shipments arriving daily. We even do special ordering. Living room, dining room, bedroom. Everything in the store is on sale now. Russell's Country Store has interest-free financing, layaway, and free delivery. Don't miss out on our special sales going on now at Russell's Country Store, 1/2 mile east of Bedford at Edmonds Road, between the cornfields and the pasture.
Summer's here, and with a new Toyota, you can go here, surf's up, here, woo, and here.
Get a new 25 gas-powered Corolla or any new Camry with 4.99 APR financing. Lease a Corolla from $219 a month or Camry from $289 a month.
Your summer starts here and just keeps on going.
Toyota, let's go places.
The DraftKings Casino app is the place for jackpots. I like my wins Texas-sized.
New players play $5 and get 350 casino spins on a featured game. Plus, a first-day replay up to 1,000 in casino credits.
So, Dad, how did Exmark become the #1 commercial mower?
Well, they've been kicking grass for 30 years.
You owe me $1.
Honey, I said grass. Exmark is the #1 commercial mower because they did one thing the best. They listened to the men and women in the industry and then used that in their build. And now is a great time to get your new Exmark. Steens Milan & Power has huge rebates on any remaining in-stock units.
And 0% financing for up to 60 months.
Exmark and Steens Milan & Power. We can help.
How many more times do you think you can outrun death?
Everybody stay sharp. One more time, at least. Let's blast off.
Gear up for the FBI's finale night.
We got this.
That is what we're looking for.
This is serious.
It's always serious on this job. We're doing this my way.
How badass is that?
The FBI's finales, CBS Tuesday, and streaming on Paramount Plus.
We're looking ahead to next week. We don't ever want to jet through the weekend, but we'll take a peek at next week. Certainly the first 3 days. Sunshine on Monday and not bad, mid-60s. But Tuesday and Wednesday, how about some cool showers with high temperatures only around 60 degrees? That's a bit chilly, Andy.
It is. All right. Well, Rite Aid is clearing its shelves tonight. The bankrupt pharmacy chain has sold off most of its stores nationwide to rivals CVS, Albertsons, Kroger, and Walgreens. The CEO of Rite Aid said the sell-off will benefit its pharmacy customers and preserve jobs for Rite Aid employees. Earlier this month, Rite Aid filed for bankruptcy for a second time. It came only months after the chain left a previous Chapter 11 process and became a private company. Disneyland in California is celebrating its 70th anniversary. The resort is now offering special anniversary ticket pricing through August 14th for its 2 theme parks, Disneyland and Disney California Adventure. A 3-day adult ticket package is now available for just $360, which is down from the normal price of $415. Disneyland is also offering a similar 4-day adult ticket deal for $400. There are anniversary deals when it comes to hotels as well. Disneyland Resort's 3 hotels are 30% off on select stays through September, but you've got to stay for at least 4 nights if you're planning a trip out to California anytime soon. All right, neighbors around the state are cleaning up tonight after last night's storms. We are checking in with crews around West Michigan for the latest on recovery efforts.
Who cares about bikers? We do. Many of our lawyers and staff ride. That's why our firm takes motorcycle accidents personally. Bikers know they need an advantage when they're hurt. The Bernstein Biker Advantage. If you're injured in a motorcycle accident, better get Bernstein.
Step right up, take your chances. Oh, how about you, buddy?
Sure. Slow down there, champ. It'll cost you.
Don't pay more to play more with BetRivers' new Progressive Rush Jackpot bonus feature with more chances at no extra cost.
It's ABC Warehouse's massive Memorial Day deals. Save up to $800 on select adjustable Stearns and Foster mattress sets. Plus, get a 50-inch TV, 2 Visa cards, and free delivery. That's the power of Plus. We finance everyone. Get up to 65% off everything. Plus, get a king for the price of a queen. 0% special financing in stock. Get it today, free delivery. We have the most mattresses on display, period. ABC Warehouse, the closest thing to wholesale.
We see you out there, building a life you love, knowing that when inspiration strikes, nothing should get in your way. At Blaine's, we're here to help with everything you need to make it happen at prices that make it possible. Like 5 quarts of Citgo SuperGuard Full Synthetic Motor Oil, $15.99 after mail-in rebate. All Fram oil filters, 20% off for rewards members. And Rain-X and Trico wiper blades, buy one, get one half price. Find the value you need to do things your way. Blaine's Farm and Fleet, being original.
Get an 11% rebate on your painting project now at Menards. Pittsburgh's premier is an interior paint and primer in one that provides excellent all-around performance in an easy-to-clean, durable finish. A gallon starts at $21.97 after rebate. Give your walls the best finish with Paramount Interior Paint. It provides the most advanced protection, true one-coat coverage, and excellent scrubbability. Get a gallon starting at $39.99 after 11% rebate.
Save big money at Menards.
Design you feel in every detail. Technology as innovative as it is effortless. These are luxuries you don't have to wait for. This is Buick now. Buick, exceptional by design.
GM employees with a current eligible Buick lease get this ultra-low mileage lease on this 2025 Buick Envision Preferred all-wheel drive for $279 per month.
Covering West Michigan to protect and alert you. This is News Channel 3, live at 6.
Damaged homes, downed trees, and power lines, also blackouts. That is the cold reality on a hot Friday night for many in West Michigan after powerful storms tore through our area late last night. And now we're just seeing how extensive this damage is and how the communities involved are recovering. News Channel 3 storm recovery coverage starts now. It's been a difficult day for many. Thanks for joining us here on News Channel 3, live at 6. I'm Andy Dominiani. At least 2 tornadoes have now been confirmed in West Michigan after severe storms tore through our area last night. At this hour, tens of thousands are still without power, and some have had their homes destroyed. We've got live team coverage tonight with crews in Battle Creek, in Martin, and Kalamazoo. They've been speaking with some of the folks in our communities who've been hit the hardest during this new round of storms. But first, let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Keith Thompson, who talked us through this last night. And Keith, we officially have 2 tornadoes confirmed.
Yes.
Within the sound of our voices.
Yeah, 2 in our area, but the survey continues. And so there's likely to be some more information coming out. I know I've heard from some folks on social media that are saying, well, what about this one? Or what about this one? It's not over yet. The reporting is still going on. The surveying is still going on from the National Weather Service. But we do have from the Weather Service in Grand Rapids 2 confirmed tornadoes in our area. The first one, an EF0 tornado. I'll tell you all about the tornadoes and what's to come in 15 seconds.
Hi, I'm Jim Vandenberg with Maple Hill Subaru. At Maple Hill, we inspect, correct, and warranty our certified pre-owned vehicles better than anyone, helping 96% of the Subarus sold in the last 10 years remain on the road today. Maple Hill Subaru, for longevity like no other.
Well, as I mentioned, 2 tornadoes that have been confirmed in our area. And so here they are, just sort of a thumbnail sketch of them. An EF0 tornado that last night went from Galesburg to Battle Creek with max winds of 80 miles per hour. Again, this was last night. And then a second one that has been confirmed by the National Weather Service to have touched down near St. Mary's Lake. That is just a few miles north of downtown Battle Creek. Now, there's more information to come about both of these. And just a short time ago this afternoon, the National Weather Service confirming a 3rd tornado, an EF1, that's outside of our viewing area. That went from just north of Charlotte to the Lansing area, particularly the Diamonddale area. And like I said, the survey is still going on. The information is still coming out. And we'll continue to, of course, update you as soon as we get more information. All right, let's talk about what's coming. Severe weather outlook. That's right. We have another chance for some strong, maybe severe storms tonight, though that risk is not as great as what we had last night. We're at level 2. That's the yellow area, level 2 out of 5. That's slight risk. That from the Storm Prediction Center. Our timing here about 8 o'clock to 1 o'clock in the morning. That's our window, with scattered storms arriving from the southwest primarily. And the primary threat, damaging wind. There is a chance for some isolated tornadoes. Not great, but still there, with the threat ending after midnight. Now, here's what we're looking at right now on live Doppler radar. It's quiet here in West Michigan. They're having another round of thunderstorms where they got hit hard last night in Wisconsin, Milwaukee, for example, all the way up to Green Bay. But notice those are moving to the northeast. We could get a visit or two of some activity that's going to develop in southern Wisconsin, but also keeping a close eye on these thunderstorms now moving into western Indiana here. These were very strong when they came through St. Louis, and so we could see some of that action here later on tonight. Your hour-by-hour breakdown, those storms will be in and out by midnight. Notice arriving about 8 to 9 o'clock, and then out of here by about midnight. And again, some of them could be strong. I'm going to take you hour by hour through our storm threat and then go over what's going to be a rather cool weekend. That's coming up.
All right, Keith, thank you. We do not need a 1-2 punch, that's for sure, but we'll see what happens tonight. And a live look now at the Consumers Energy Outage Map. Things are gradually getting better at this hour. Just under 170,000 consumers, energy customers are in the dark in our state. Of course, the vast majority in our area. These outages began to trickle in about 9 o'clock last night, and that number just grew as the storm moved through overnight, topping off at 215,000 outages, more than 10% of customers in our state by the end of the storms. Consumers says that they have restored power to at least 10% of those impacted. They estimate that they'll have power mostly restored to all by Saturday night. Well, hurricane force winds tore through that area, speeds reaching up to 76 miles an hour in Springfield near Battle Creek. Trees down everywhere, power lines and homes damaged. That's especially true in one neighborhood. Tonight, News Channel 3's Mackenzie Decker kicks off our live team coverage there. Mackenzie, we know it's a mess. What are you seeing where you are?
Yeah, Andy, we're here in one family's front yard where a massive tree has fallen. As you can see, the stump behind me goes up taller than I am. And this is just one of many examples throughout the neighborhood of this damage and debris. And it all is needing to be repaired by these homeowners.
We waited until it stopped before we came out. And it was surreal because it was pitch black. So we were just like, what is it going to look like in the daytime?
City leaders saying the worst of the storm appearing to hit the numbered street area, right where Leah Campbell's home sits. Campbell says she didn't anticipate the storm being that serious until alerts started coming through on her phone, convincing her and her daughter to take cover just in time.
My daughter's room is right there in the corner, and I said, "Are you coming down?" She got downstairs to the couch down there, and not 2 minutes, we all heard a large boom and cracks.
It was this massive tree falling on top of their home. You can see the bottom of the tree here completely uprooted. The tree knocking down fixtures and causing water to get in. Campbell's home is one of the worst hit in the area, but not too far away at Kellogg Community College, landscape workers dealing with fallen trees and branches as well.
Heading that way through the back roads, we came across a big old tree and we were like, oh, well, we can't go that way. So we took the next side road, and it's another giant tree just taking over the whole road. I'd rather see it in a tree than, in somebody's house. That's a much worse situation to have to deal with.
Campbell says her family is in good spirits, all things considered, thankful for help from her neighbors and that nobody was hurt.
My neighbor's brother came over and sawed up with his chainsaw pieces in the back. And yeah, everybody's been driving by gawking and taking pictures, but you could tell they look concerned.
And as luck would have it, the city does have a curbside cleanup that was already scheduled for next week. So those of you cleaning up after the storm, just leave your items by the curb. And of course, have patience as crews work to help everyone recover. Live in Battle Creek, Mackenzie Decker, News Channel 3.
All right, Mackenzie, heading north and west of where she is, the damage is also extensive in Allegan County. Many people there also waiting for their power to come back on this hot Friday night. News Channel 3's Tyler Brummett is joining us live now from the village of Martin. We see trees down behind you. What else are you seeing there, Tyler?
Yeah, Andy, there's just so much damage. You mentioned the tree here behind me. Just look right there. You can see it toppled over, went right into a home. And I want to show you something else, too. You mentioned that the power is out here. We've seen a number of cars coming by here, and at times traffic has been backed up because of the fact that the stoplight just down the street is out. But you see here, crews are working to remove debris. They've been at this now all day long. Really, they started in the overnight hours when this storm came through after it had wrapped up and it was safe to come outside. That is when they came out here. Now, I also stopped by a campground just down the street, just outside of the village of Martin. They're cleaning up that area too, and it's a process that'll likely take months.
Storms go through, but nothing, maybe a little hail damage, but normally we don't really, seems like that either goes below us or above us.
Kathy Rex says in the 15 years since she's owned Schnabel Lake Family Campground, storm damage has never been this bad.
It went through fairly fast, about 15-20 minutes, but it did a lot of damage. We have a lot of campers that are turned over. I would say there's probably about 35 campers in here that's actually been damaged.
All over the place, there are tree branches, campers that were toppled, and personal belongings that are not where they're supposed to be. But everyone is okay. Just a few miles away in Martin, neighbors are helping neighbors. Trees have been uprooted, power lines are down, and Undersheriff Mike Larson tells me his team has been busy.
Obviously, we had some weather events that caused a lot of calls for service. At one time, there were over 200 calls for service on the board for deputies and first responders to attend to.
Larson says first responders did a great job, but when the sirens went off, he says dispatchers were overwhelmed by calls. That's why he's urging you to only call 911 if it's an emergency.
Dispatchers have to take a call and then type information in. When those sirens goes off, what we're asking people to do is seek shelter and then seek other means of information.
As the recovery begins, many people are now counting their blessings.
I've got a little scratch on my head. My wife's got some bruises, but my granddaughter's fine and my daughter's fine. So we're blessed.
Undersheriff Larson also tells me he's simply thankful that no one was seriously hurt. Again, he says as far as he knows, there have been no reports of any injuries. Meanwhile, people in this neighborhood say that they will continue to work to get this neighborhood looking the way that it did before the storms rolled through. And Andy, we know that'll take some time. Of course, we'll keep you updated on the recovery efforts here. For now, we're live in Allegan County. Tyler Brummett, News Channel 3.
All right, Tyler, thank you. It's been a doubly bad day for some as our live team coverage continues with News Channel 3's Autumn Pitcher. She's joining us live in Kalamazoo tonight. Autumn.
Yes, as we know, this was a powerful storm, so powerful that it even uprooted a massive tree like this one behind me here. Now, the homeowners say it's about 150 years old, and this tree came right down on top of this home, and you can see it pierce right through the center of it. And we've talked to more than one resident today who this has happened to. They tell us the storm came so fast that they didn't have time to take cover and feel it's a miracle they survived.
Absolutely would have killed her.
Crushing her home on Springmont Avenue. This tree came only a few feet from landing on Riley Peterson during Thursday night's powerful storms. Her dad, Houston, tells me it landed where the bathroom used to be.
Oh, she'd been a goner. Yeah. So she had just got out of the shower literally within 3 or 4 minutes before the tree came down.
Riley didn't want to go on camera, so Houston spoke to us on her behalf.
It just uprooted and went, right into the house from kind of the southwest corner.
While the home was crashing down around her, he tells me Riley had to find an opening to escape.
The whole thing knocked her over and she was knocked into this corner. And then there she was laying still wet from the shower and with a towel.
She's lived in the home for 4 years and had made it her own.
When you came inside, it was just really homey and it was just a darling place.
The storm destroyed virtually everything, but the family has still been able to find some of her belongings. While the journey to rebuild will take time, Houston says it's time they're grateful that they still get to spend with their daughter.
I just say glory to God because, that it was inches away from taking her life and it didn't. So, praise God and everything's going to be fine.
You can see the tree even came through the front of the home, which then came down on top of some power lines. And we know that many residents today have been still left without power. And we know how difficult that's been because of how hot today has been. And even despite all these hardships, we know that Riley has been still staying positive, and she is optimistic, telling us that she plans to rebuild her a home and still live in this area, because there's no place she would rather be. She loves Kalamazoo so much right here. I'm live tonight in Kalamazoo. Autumn Pitcher, News Channel 3.
Autumn, thank you. One neighborhood just off Oakland Drive in Portage was also hit hard overnight by the storm, and it's an area that's had trouble before. In fact, one woman just fixed her house from the last blast when her home got hammered yet again. Sandra Matthews' house was damaged in last year's tornado, and now it's happened again. The Matthews, she says, this is worse than even last May. Her glass cabinet and collectibles have been destroyed. Her ceilings cracked and drywall falling onto the floor. She does not look forward to dealing, she says, with insurance adjusters again. They'd just gotten done repairing her ceiling from the last tornado in Portage.
I can't imagine. I just can't imagine doing this again. Should go to the casino and play a couple bets or something.
As West Michigan continues to clean up from another storm, we'll keep you updated with coverage both here on air and on our website. That's WWMT.com. And we want to know, are you dealing with storm damage? You can scan this QR code on your screen. It'll take us to your website. About 42% of respondents, almost half, say yes, they've got some kind of damage. We've also got this question posted on most of our web stories relating to last night's storms. And we encourage you to send photos into our Chime In gallery. We do share those on air. Make sure to include your name and the location of where that photo or video was taken. An investigation's underway tonight in Comstock following an electric fire. The details we're just uncovering tonight.
Are big changes in air travel coming to West Michigan?
If you know and you have plans now, I would buy now.
The News Channel 3i team investigates how tariffs could be taking a toll, making your next flight more frustrating. Monday at 11 on News Channel 3.
The all-new Kia K4. High performance without the high price. Shop our entire inventory on-site or online. Better is just better. Better see Sealy Kia Kalamazoo.
Dad, with all these tractors, how do you decide which John Deere to buy?
That's a great question. Hey folks, Brian here with Steensma Lawn and Power. And if you're looking for a new John Deere tractor, trust me, you want to see Steensma's. Our sales team is non-commissioned, and they only have one priority, and that's to listen and help you get the right John Deere tractor for your needs and your budget.
About 0% financing for 84 months or rebates up to $4,000.
See Steensma Lawn and Power.
We can help.
At Modernistic, we believe trust is earned.
That's why since 1973, we've served Michigan homes and businesses with pride.
Because to us, quality service is not a lost art. It's who we are.
It's who we are.
It's who we are. So whether it's simple and quick carpet cleaning, air duct cleaning, or flood and fire restoration,
we'll treat you like family.
Save $75 off air duct cleaning with promo code TRUST75.
Oh no, I did it again. I don't mind what you call it. Tell my friends and I'm lonely. Sitting and sinking alone.
GM employees and eligible family members who currently own or lease an eligible Cadillac vehicle get this low mileage lease on this 2025 Cadillac Lyriq all-wheel drive luxury one for around $529 per month.
Thank you for turning to News Channel 3 at 6. The news continues right now.
And welcome back to News Channel 3 live at 6 on a Friday. An investigation's now been launched by the Allegan County Sheriff's Office after a crash that killed a motorcyclist this afternoon in Hopkins Township. Deputies say it happened just before 3 o'clock at the intersection of 18th Street and 135th Avenue. They say a motorcyclist blew through a stop sign at a four-way stop and crashed into an SUV. The motorcyclist died on the scene. The cause of this crash does remain under investigation. Thankfully, nobody was hurt following a house fire in Comstock Township this morning. Comstock Fire and Rescue says they were called to a home on North 33rd Street, about 2 miles west of Galesburg. When they got there, they say they found smoke billowing from the property in large flames. Firefighters say they quickly put out the fire, although what caused it remains unknown tonight. In developing news, we now know that there will be a trial for a Pontiac mother charged with abandoning her 3 young children for years. 34-year-old Kelly Bryant is facing 3 counts each of child abuse relating to forcing her 3 kids to live alone in unbearably filthy conditions in an apartment. She's also charged with welfare fraud relating to getting payments from the state. After a preliminary hearing today, the judge ruled the case will proceed to circuit court. It was bound over, although no official court date has been scheduled. This woman could face life in prison for the child abuse charges alone.
Well, this is the calm before yet another round of storms will be moving in. And how about this for some calm views? This is looking live over St. Joe and Silver Beach there, and a beautiful shot of the big lake. And like I said, looks can be deceiving, I guess you would say, because we do have some storms that are going to be heading our way. Let's go over our severe weather outlook here. This from the Storm Prediction Center. This area in yellow is where there is a slight risk for severe weather. Our risk, the threat is not as great as what we were looking at last night, but we still have the chance for some scattered storms that will be arriving primarily from the southwest here. And the primary threat is going to be from some damaging winds. Not going to take a chance for isolated tornadoes off the table, unfortunately. That still is out there. That threat will be ending by midnight. And our window really goes from about 8 o'clock to about 1 a.m. Let's go hour by hour, and we'll even refine that more. We start off our clock here at 7 o'clock, starting to see a thunderstorm or two there in northwest Indiana. Notice, as opposed to what we had last night, where we had this huge line of thunderstorms that was racing through. In this case, what we're looking at, scattered thunderstorms. And again, some of those isolated storms could be strong, maybe even severe. This doesn't look as ominous as last night. Want to underline that, but there is still somewhat of a threat. Notice everything moving out by midnight, and then overnight, much cooler air moves in, and it's going to be rather damp and also cool. So our storm threat recap, again, we have a slight risk for severe storms, timing from about 8 to about midnight, scattered severe storms possible. Remember last night, that was numerous. And then again, some large hail and maybe some gusts of 60 plus, isolated tornadoes possible with some periods of heavy rain. That's what we're on alert for. Let's look live in downtown Kalamazoo, just like the shot we showed you there from St. Joe and Silver Beach. This is our Peregrine Tower camera looking to the northwest. Lots of sunshine here, too, looking over Bronson Park. Live Doppler radar, again, pretty quiet here. Not so quiet over in Wisconsin. You know, they had to deal with those storms yesterday and last night. They're dealing with more. Most of these are moving to the northeast. Keeping an eye on this activity now moving into west central Indiana. And again, we're going to be keeping an eye on both of those areas for development here. Temperatures right now are in the lower 80s like yesterday, but unlike yesterday when we had dew points in the 60s, now they're in the 40s and 50s, and that's why it doesn't feel as humid, even though it is warm. Evening thunderstorms and cloudy and cooler overnight, 52 for your low. Mainly cloudy tomorrow, breezy and much cooler with scattered showers, a high only around 60. It's a very different feel moving in over the weekend, and we're going to stay relatively cool all through next week, Andy.
All right, big changes coming tonight and for next week, Keith. We'll check back with you shortly. Well, if you missed the finale of The Amazing Race last night because of the severe weather and our coverage of that, there are 2 options you have to watch it. You can find it now on CBS.com, or if you've got Paramount Plus, you can watch it there as well. Coming up in sports, the Wolverines start their march toward the Women's College World Series as they look to keep the good times rolling.
News Channel 3 is sponsored by ABC Warehouse. Denoyer Chevrolet's trade-in and trade-up event is going on now. Upgrading your ride has never been easier. Get better than top dollar for your vehicle, up to $1,500 more. Our 2 Chevy dealerships have lots of great options available right now. Choose a new, certified, or used vehicle from our vast inventory and save with select Denoyer discounts. Take delivery and drive home miles ahead in savings. Trade in and trade up. Only at Denoyer Chevrolet in Kalamazoo and Marshall.
The future of trading is here on Robinhood. Purpose-built for how you trade. Execute your strategies with tools designed to make trading more intuitive.
The wait is almost over. The all-new Gun Lake Casino Resort.
Hello, this is Franklin Graham. There's a lot of troubled hearts out there today. Jesus told us, let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. You can give him your troubled heart right now. He's the one who can give you peace and comfort in these turbulent times we're living in. You see, the problem we have in this world is sin. And the Bible says all of us are guilty. Every one of us has sinned. But God sent his son to save us. Jesus Christ came and he took our sins to the cross. He died and shed his blood on the cross. He was buried. But on the third day, God raised his son to life. And if you're willing to confess your sins and turn from them and believe on the name of Jesus Christ, you can be saved. Just pray this prayer with me right now. Dear God, I'm a sinner. I want to turn from my sins. Forgive me. I believe Jesus is your son. I want to trust him as my Savior right now. Amen. If you prayed that prayer, call the number right now that's on the screen. We've got people who want to speak with you. God bless you.
Style or substance. Somehow it became one or the other. But there is another choice. Not stopping until you have everything in the GMC Sierra. GM employees with a current eligible GMC lease get this low mileage lease on this Sierra for $199 per month.
See your West Michigan GMC dealer today.
Sometimes it's just a matter of timing. No one knows that better than Michigan softball, who won 6 in a row to make the NCAA tournament, including a stellar run in the Big Ten tourney to reach postseason play. Michigan hoping that their bats still have great timing as they open against Central Florida in the Austin Regional. Ella Stevenson with great timing on this swing. Good for a solo shot. That's going to help tie the game at 1 in the second inning. Into the 5th, trouble for Michigan. Izzy Mertes with a single up the middle to score one of her teammates. But Jenessa Conway coming up firing. They're going to get the tag at home to get out of the inning. Keeps it just a 2-score game. Conway then helping the cause. RBI double off the wall in deep center. It's going to help make it a 3-2 ball game. Very next batter, Lauren Putz, goes yard. Michigan, they're going to win this one by a final of 4-3. They move on in the winner's bracket. A little bit closer to home, Western Michigan looking to keep its Mac Turney hopes alive going against Ohio. A busy day for the Broncos in the field. Tanner Malley going to come up with a diving catch here in center field. Impressive stuff. Can't double off the Bobcats at first, but nevertheless, yeah, that is certainly an impressive play. Next inning, it's Malley coming up huge again off the single to center. He's going to fire this one home to the plate. Diego Pena with the tag. Those two teaming up for a very impressive out and assist. But this, the story of the game, just too many bad pitches from the Broncos staff. 13 walks in all, including this pass ball to score a run. Broncos lose this one 12-1 in 7. Keith?
Thanks a lot, Nate. Our weather is going to get a little bit stormy, I think, later on tonight. Right now, though, we're looking at live Doppler radar. It's fairly quiet. So let's go over our storm outlook then. For tonight, we have a slight risk for severe storms. Our window of opportunity here from about 8 o'clock to about midnight. This is not as intense a threat as we had last night. Could see some scattered severe storms, of course. We will keep you up to speed.
Once again, stay with us both here on air and on our website, WWMT.com, and we'll see you later on tonight.
It is a friendly wheel rivalry all this week.
They are all wheel fans who watch the show together.
I came with the goal of beating these two because girls rule.
Every weeknight at 7 on News Channel 3.
So, Dad, how did Exmark become the #1 commercial mower?
Well, they've been kicking grass for 30 years.
You owe me $1.
Honey, I said grass. Exmark is the #1 commercial mower because they did one thing the best. They listened to the men and women in the industry and then used that in their build. And now is a great time to get your new Exmark. Steensma Lawn and Power has huge rebates on any remaining in-stock units.
And 0% financing for up to 60 months.
Exmark and Steensma Lawn and Power.
We can help.
You need new replacement windows, but you're just not sure if they're in the budget this year, right? I'm Brian Gary here with Ted Coons from Renewal by Anderson, and he's here to talk about how to make window replacement more affordable.
Well, first, Brian, you don't have to do them all. You could just replace your worst windows first. Or another way to make them affordable is to change the style of window. For example, you could do a gliding window instead of a casement. We have a lot of ways to make window projects really affordable.
Compared to other window companies, you have a completely different business model.
Yeah, with other companies, there's just too many people involved in the process. There's the manufacturer, the seller, and then the installer, and then the customer. And if you call with a problem, that's when they say, oh, well, we're the manufacturer. You have to call the installer for that problem, or vice versa. We're the full-service replacement window division of Anderson. With us, there's no passing the buck. At Renewal by Anderson, we sell, build, install, and warrant our windows and patio doors. So if there's ever an issue, we take full responsibility for it.
Why don't you sell vinyl windows?
Well, a lot of vinyl products just don't hold up well in the elements. You know, like a vinyl fence. When it's first installed, it looks great, but with expansion and contraction, it discolors and cracks. For that same reason, a lot of vinyl windows just won't last. Our window material is a composite that combines the best of vinyl and wood. Well, Fibrex is low maintenance like vinyl, but stronger than vinyl. And it's beautiful like wood, but doesn't require the upkeep of wood.
Renewal by Anderson's Memorial Day window and door sales event is going on now. Save 20% on windows, patio doors, and entry doors, plus take $500 off your entire purchase. With no money down, no monthly payments, and no interest for 1 year. Our Memorial Day sales event ends May 31st. Call 616-649-1400.
From CBS News headquarters in New York, this is the CBS Evening News.
Good evening, I'm John Dickerson.
I'm Maurice Dubois.
The United States no longer has a stellar AAA credit rating. Late today, Moody's became the last of the 3 credit rating agencies to downgrade the U.S. a notch to AA1. That could raise the government's cost of borrowing.
Moody's suggested the government is doing too much borrowing and spending. Said Congress and successive administrations have failed to reverse the trend of large deficits and growing interest costs.
In Congress today, a handful of House conservatives blocked the president's package of tax breaks and spending cuts. They want deeper cuts to Medicaid.
That program provides health insurance for low-income Americans. And while Republicans are looking to cut money out of it, the administration is planning to spend as much as $45 million on a parade next month to celebrate the Army's 250th